not just as a business owner, but you'll see how it changed into your personal life as well. Like I know one of you, I made your relationship great again. You're welcome. And also I just recently left my dream job to my dream business. What's really cool is that I've only had this business for 9 months. I worked my first paying client within 2 weeks of starting. I generated not only 5-figure months, but days too. I work with clients to build their businesses to get results now. And what's really cool is that I'm collaborating with global influencers. Like I'm going to Cape Town in about 2 weeks, meeting up with Natalie from Boss Babe and then Nick Pigeon, who's my business mentor, and other global influencers, connecting with Fortune 500 companies. So I was just in Warner Brothers like about 2 months ago. And even just personally, like I attracted this amazing city here in Pasadena, an amazing boyfriend. And just this past 24 hours, I wanted to share Pasadena Magazine, Asian Journal Magazine, approached me. I love Nick and Natalie. Yeah, they're awesome. And I didn't do anything to get these magazines or journals to reach out to me. I didn't reach out to them. They reached out to me. And Asian Journal is really huge for me because I'm Filipino, and they were the journals that my parents would pick up. And they reached out to me through LinkedIn. Pasadena Magazine. I'm from Pasadena. Thanks, Marina. And by the way, they're like, hey, can you do this article and we'll pay you? Like, I get paid for this. So it's really cool that this is happening. But the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because this happened nine months ago. And I want you to know that this is possible for you too. Absolutely possible. So what's your goal in 9 months? It's so important to write things down. Goals are more likely to happen. So write it in the box what your goals are. And I don't mind sharing this. Like my goal is to have my own team working with other organizations. So not just working with clients one-on-one, but also other organizations. Being featured in TEDx for me, because I actually just got an application to apply for TEDx here in Pasadena, and being featured in Forbes and Inc. And I'm already doing step-by-step in terms of I'm talking to other women I know of who have been featured in Forbes. So even though I share that, thanks Aisha and Marina, I want you ladies to write down, what do you want? Marina, Forbes. And what I loved about Marina, I talked to her about a week ago, and I want you to think about very specific, not just I want to be in Forbes, but she was describing to me, and I'm sure you don't mind me sharing this, Marina, is how she would be featured in Forbes. She would have these hot, sexy stilettos with a pencil skirt. So even thinking to the detail, yes, even thinking to the detail of how it feels like, what you're wearing, how sexy and skinny you are. So not just the goal of I want to be in Forbes, but how you feel and how your body feels. So think of that too. Just an example of how I've been able to do that. Samara makes it more real, I guess. It does. And I'll share this. So I'm a believer in the law of attraction, but more of taking steps and goals to do that. And I always put, like, I'm looking behind my laptop screen, there's a whiteboard, and I put, Rachel, in 9 months, I want to have multiple consistent income streams that may possibly include an online boutique. By the way, if anyone wants multiple consistent income streams, write it, like say yes to that. I'm pretty sure a lot of you agree with Rachel that you want consistent income streams because it's very different. Yes, Aisha. Yes, Vianne. Hilda, you want to work in the USA. Awesome. Just a reminder, we have ladies here throughout the world. Marina, yes. Hilda, skydive. Okay, I'm going to try to work on skydiving. I don't know yet. So it's just, and by the way, your goal in 9 months doesn't have to be something in career. Like it could be personal. So Hilda, I really appreciate you saying skydiving. So I know a goal for me one time was even, what was it? Running a marathon. Jenny's in here. I did an LA marathon with her, which was really awesome, and having an accountability partner. Dana, within the next 9 months, I will have launched my blog site and e-course and have a steady flow of 3 to 4 new coaching clients per month. Dana, you already know. I know you're going to reach that. Like that's already done for you. So yes, it's really exciting. And what's great is not only do I want you to think about the goal you have in 9 months, but also think about who you have around you in your life and how they're going to support you. I mean, we often think, and it makes me really sad when other women think, oh, I'll just figure it out on my own, because we don't want to be a burden, right? We don't want to be a burden to our boyfriend, our husband, to family members. But sure, you don't have to share everything with them. You could share them your goals, but making sure you have a tribe of people that you could go to and ask for advice, even if it means like you're just going to break down because I break down all the time. But it's so important to know that you're not alone. Dana, like you, thank you. That you're not alone, and to just make sure you have that tribe, which is why I created the Facebook group as well. So why am I qualified? I am very passive aggressive. I grew up in a culture where you don't talk directly to other people. Respect your elders, even if they say the most ridiculous things. I was bullied. I was bullied when I was a teenager. I was bullied twice in different workplaces. I didn't have the best relationship with my dad. I was in very toxic, codependent relationships. Samara, why 9 months? I mean, why not, I don't know, 6 months or a year from now? Yeah, you're right. It doesn't have to be 9 months, or it could be anything you want. In this past 3 years, I've personally spent $30,000 in my own self-development. It's really important to help other people like you, like people in the Fierce Gen tribe, to just create the life they want as well. So this is cards I get from clients, which is awesome. In the last part in the bottom, in the second line, shit happens, but you go on, life goes on. I always talk about shit for some reason. So let's visualize. And I know some of you have watched my Boss Babe webinar, so it's very similar. And by the way, Marina, I'm just going to steal this from you a little. So I want you to close your eyes. Yes, close your eyes. I could see you. I'm kidding. I can't see you. But close your eyes and pretend I'm stalking you, that I could see you. So close your eyes. And I want you to think about how we're going to redo Monday. So redo Monday morning. You wake up at 4 in the morning. There's no babies crying. You go to that one exercise class, whether it's Soul Cycle, yoga, maybe it's just running, or maybe it's just meditating. You know, the sexy Lululemon or Athleta gear that you're wearing, or maybe you want to save a lot of money, so you went to Marshalls or Nordstrom Rack, which is what I do. Whatever outfit you're wearing. You had such a great workout, you sweat a lot, you took a nice hot shower, then you walk into a meeting, you have such a boss babe feeling with the hot stilettos and pencil skirts, right, Marina? And just how it feels like when you walk in and people know that you're just powerful. Not powerful, like that you're overtaking it, but they know that you have this inner strength within you. Yes, red lipstick. Okay, red lipstick if you want. And you have great meetings. Your shoes are very comfortable, so you get no blisters. You walk out of the meeting, you go to your child's soccer game, and then afterwards you go celebrate because your son or daughter just won the soccer game, and then you see family members and like, oh my God, you look amazing. Not because you lost weight, but because there's just this new energy about you. So open your eyes. I hope your eyes were closed because I'm going to go get you. I'm kidding. But open your eyes, and I want you to know how it feels like. So when it comes to goals, it's not just writing it down, but also how it feels. And this is what I do every morning and evening as well. So, but first, the big 3 secrets to being an assertiveness queen. So we're going to get to the meat of it. So number 1, how can being assertive help your current relationships, both work and personal? So take a moment, and I want you to write in the box how being assertive could help you in both work, your career, your business, or relationships. Just be sure to type in the box how it can be, and I'll wait for it and see. I know for me, it's like I listen a lot. I make sure that I ask for feedback a lot, not just from colleagues or people that I'm partnering up with, but even my clients. Like my client the other day told me, you know, you don't market yourself as much as you could. You provide a lot of value. So I'm actually talking to her tomorrow and getting more feedback from her. And I know at the end of this, like I want to hear from all of you, like what do you want to learn more of that I could provide more value to the Fierce Gen Tribe group as well. So conflicts are opportunities. I know that's really weird, but Aisha, it will let people know that I'm confident in what I say and my decisions. Good. And by the way, Aisha, you'll be happy to know, and a lot of ladies that are in here, that there's going to be word-to-word scripts on how to talk to, whether it's your parents or to your partner when you've made a decision, and being in power of that and not making it feel like conflict. Jenny, how it would help, I want to establish a newfound respect for myself. I'm sure a lot of ladies agree with that statement, that a lot of you want a newfound respect for yourself, especially when we're all evolving. I'm pretty sure all of you that are here tonight on a Monday night, thank you, that we constantly want to seek to become better, to be our best version of ourselves. And that's not the same person who we were in the past, right? I'm sure you agree. Like I'm really grateful for the different, I mean, I'm not going to say different chameleons, but for the person I was in the past, especially the mistakes and horrible choices I made, because it's made me to the person who I am. I'm sure you agree. I see more chats in here. Marina, not worrying about if my employees like me or not. Yes. And I don't know if you've heard this quote before, but the disease to please, I suffered from the disease to please. If anyone has suffered from that, say yes, but I have. And it's okay that not everyone's going to like you. There's billions of people in this world. And when you go into complete alignment of what you're supposed to be doing, it's going to rub people the wrong way. And I've mentioned this before, I think in another webinar, and this is why. When you're in complete alignment to what you want to do, and it's different from who you were, people you grew up with see a mirror, even people you grew up with since you were 5 or went to high school or college with, and they're going to be like, wait, I grew up with that person. How come she thinks she's better than me? And it's not that you're being conceited. It's just, it gives them like, oh shit, like I have limiting beliefs. So don't think it's about you. So I hope that makes you feel better as well. Rachel, being assertive will help me feel more empowered and in turn lead to successful relationships. Yes, Hilda, to expand my business as I'm quite the procrastinator. Hilda, if this helps, I'm such a procrastinator, by the way. I was like fixing up this webinar right before it. And Aisha, yes. Okay, so you agree with that. Vianne, being more assertive can help me improve myself and gain more possible opportunities that some, like my boss, might not have known. I wanted because I didn't speak up or put myself out there and to get my business going. Yes to friends and people liking you. Yep, I'm pretty sure all of us have that. You know, the disease to please, it's something I still work on a daily basis. So let's go back to how perception is everything when it comes to conflicts. We all grew up differently. I mean, for any of you that have siblings, or if you don't have siblings, you have cousins. Sure, we grew up with the same parents, but as you know, you're completely different from the other person because sure, you grew up in the same household, but you went to different classes, your different grade levels, different friends. So there's certain things that trigger it for some people. And I'll give a specific example. So for example, at one time I hated sushi. And the reason why I hated sushi is because that was the first time I went drinking and partying and threw it all up. So whenever I heard someone talk about sushi, it would trigger it for me like, no, I'm not going. So I'm pretty sure you could think of certain situations in your life where someone says something and it could be completely normal for the other person. It triggers for you. Same thing, vice versa to another person. And communication is what others understand, not what we say, which is the example of the sushi. And we get to learn more about ourselves, loved ones, and colleagues. And people, like I said, get triggered by different things as well. So these are word-to-word scripts we're starting with conflicts or opportunities. The first scenario, number 1, before I read the sentence word to word, this is a great script to use when you've made a decision for yourself, but you love, let's say, your partner or your parents, and you want to let them know because it's important for them to, it's important for them to be a part of it, right? To let them know, I made this huge decision. So I'm going to read it. I want you to know that I value our relationship and I have something important to share. I would love for you to first listen to what I have to say and comment after. So you're letting them know, hey, this is really important. I made a decision and I'd love for you to listen. So for anyone that has a boyfriend or a husband or even parents, their role in our life is to protect us, right? I mean, that's number 1, absolutely. And there's this masculine and feminine power. So I'm sure with any of you that are in relationships or have been, when our partner or our parents hear at least 1 ounce of doubt, they will point it out because they love us so much and they'll point it out. So it's so important when you've made a decision, that's a decision you've made, and letting that person know and expressing that's really important for you to listen, and you could comment after. And what that means, like, ask me any questions you have as well. Number 2 is in any relationship, it could be whether it's personal or even at work. You know when something's bothering you and the other person has no idea, right? Like it's leading up to it. There's something they do particularly, but they have no idea. And this is what we do as women. We don't want to be a burden. We don't want to mention it. But it's really important to let them know. And why? Just remember you love them, right? Whether it's your partner or it's your parents, or if it's a colleague at work, it's really important to let them know because you're working at this really important project, right? So saying number 2, I need you to know that this has been bothering me. I would appreciate if A, B, and C would happen instead. What were your thoughts? So what's really great about this word-to-word script is you're letting the other person know that something's bothering, right? And you're not blaming them. By the way, I used to do this all the time. I was like, you always do this. You never take out the trash. You never wash the dishes. I always use the you word instead of saying I. So you're letting them know, I need you to know that this is bothering me. So you're letting them know something's triggering it for you. And when you say the second part, that I would appreciate if A, B, and C would happen instead, what's great about that second part is that you've already kind of found alternatives of how to solve that issue, right? Like saying, how about you say this? What are your thoughts? And I don't mind sharing this story because I know a lot of you have mentioned to me how personal stories are important. So as you know, I'm a coach. And so when I'm with friends and they tell me something exciting, like my best friend told me something really exciting, it's like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. And then she actually used a sentence, I need you to know that this is bothering me whenever you say, I'm proud of you. Like, it's really patronizing. And I appreciate if you just like, I'm happy for you. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I didn't turn off the coaching hat. Like, I didn't put my friend hat. What's interesting is I brought this thing up to my boyfriend. He's like, oh, that wouldn't have bothered me if you said, I'm proud of you. And I share that because it's different for each person. Like something could trigger it for someone where like, I really don't like what you said. And whenever I get feedback from that, I always say thank you. And that's another thing. When you get feedback from someone, say thank you to them. It's not necessarily saying you agree with them, but it's that, hey, thanks for giving me feedback. I know it must have been really hard for you to approach that to me. And the reason why I want to emphasize that is because I forgot, an old mentor told me, the moment someone stops giving you feedbacks, the moment they don't think you're going to change. And I always like knowing I could be given feedback, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as someone who's leading or wanting to seek being a manager or director at an organization. It's so important to get feedback from people, even if you don't agree with it. And by the way, that's another thing you could use. When someone says something and you don't agree with it, what you could say is, oh, I hear you. I hear you're really frustrated with that. So because they just want to be heard, you're not saying I agree with you. You're saying I hear you. And it kind of relaxes the situation as well. So I hope that was helpful. The third script, can you help me understand why this is important to you? You know how there's certain ways people might want something? Like, for example, I have an aunt who needs the glasses in a certain way, or I need to get the cup from her sink instead of the cupboard, and I just have no idea. So saying, can you help me understand why this is important to you? And 4, I really care about you, and I would like to continue this conversation tomorrow. I talked about this earlier in the webinar. So don't think when someone says something that may hurt you that you have to solve it right away. Let them know, hey, I really care about you. I really want to just finish the conversation tomorrow. And if they push you, like if they're so used to arguing back with you right away, like, why? Let's just talk about it now. And like, I don't want to say anything I regret. I really love you. I respect you. I care about you, but let's wait for this until tomorrow. So like I said earlier in this webinar, it's really important to me that you are going to be creating action after this. So out of the 4, which one are you going to apply to in your life? You don't have to tell me what, like it doesn't, you don't have to tell me if it's for your partner or for work, but type in if you're going to do number 1, number 2, number 3, or 4. So type it in the chat box and I'll wait for a little. Number 2. Oh, number 2 is becoming popular. Anyone else? I'm just curious. Number 2. Okay. Number 2 is winning. Number 3. Okay. Can you help me understand? Cool. Anyone else that wants to say what they want to work on as well? Or if you're just an overachiever and you want to say all of the above, you could say all of the above. by the way, you're not going to fail this test. This is not a test. It's not an open-ended test either, so you're welcome. 2 and 4. Awesome. Okay, let's go through more scripts. So active listening. I am constantly asking questions to better understand. It's just what I do, not just because of my profession, but it's just really important for me to constantly ask questions. So number 1, what I'm hearing you say is sorry, there's a typo. What I'm hearing you say is that we need to work on A, B, and C. Is there anything else I'm missing? What's really great for number 1 is using it at a work situation. So when you're at a meeting, right, it's about to end, and you assume, because we all assume, that, okay, I know what my to-do lists are. But before ending it, letting whether it's your boss or your colleague know, hey, so what I'm hearing you say, or what I'm understanding from this meeting is that I need to work on A, B, and C. Is there anything else I'm missing? So what's really great about this is that you're concluding it, right? Like, I need to work on A, B, and C, and asking them, is there something missing? Because remember, our perceptions might be different from the other person. And also, you also help the other person. Oh, wait, I forgot. We need to work on this or that. So second is, can you help me understand why this is frustrating you? So it's similar to, I know, the other quote that I shared in the last slide. So asking them, hey, is there something that's triggering it for you? I would really want to know. Number 3 is, I want to better understand the issue so that we can finish this in time. Number 3 is really great to use at a meeting. And it's actually if this is a yes for you, say yes. I'm sure there's going to be people that say yes to this. But I'm sure there has been times, or a time, when your colleague is literally next door to you and you get a passive-aggressive email and you're just like, I'm right here. Why don't you just talk to me about it? If this is a yes for you, respond yes. And so what I've done in my previous job that I left, and I loved my team, is I had a coworker that would send passive-aggressive emails. So instead of responding back via email, by the way, another trick is when it comes to conflict, don't use emails or text messages. It's better to do it in person. And if in person doesn't work, then talk about it over the phone. It might be really painful in terms of it's in person or on the phone, but a lot of miscommunication that happens in text and an email gets out of the way. So I went to my colleague and said, hey, I want to better understand the issue so we could finish it. Or even on the 4th one, how can I better communicate to you so that you're not hurt? That's the 4th script. And that's what I used with her was, how can I better communicate to you? Or how can I be more clear to you so that we could finish this project on time? And what I like doing when I say finish the project on time, I'm using the project rather than talking about the communication skills of the other person or me, or even the relationship. So you're focused on the bigger picture, which is what I like doing, and putting the goal in the big picture at the end. So like I said earlier, it's really important to me to know what action steps you're going to use. So are you going to use 1, 2, 3, or 4 when it comes to your life? Just type it down so that I know. Number 4, how can I better communicate so you're not hurt? Okay, awesome. Number 1, number 2, 3, or did you like all of them? And if it's all, just type all. I see another number 1, all. Awesome. Another thing I do want to talk about when it comes to having very difficult questions is, oh, oops, I did something. Is I know we get really heated. And when we get really heated, we could have anxiety. So our blood is flowing. And this is biological. I'm not giving you some woo-woo type of advice. But because your blood is flowing, that's why when we get into arguments, you notice that we get short and quick about it. Like, oh, you always do this, right? And instead breathe and then say the statement. Because let me give you an example. So let's say number 2, and I didn't breathe and I didn't think about it or give it a break. Well, can you help me understand why this is frustrating? So it's not just the word-to-word scripts, it's the tone of how you sound. So when you say, can you help me understand why this is frustrating for you, versus can you help me understand why this is frustrating for you? It's completely different, right? So another thing that I want to emphasize is be responsible for the energy you bring into your room. And the reason why I say this is because it, like, remember we did a visualization exercise earlier and how powerful you could feel. I'm sure, and if this is a yes, the tone, yes, changes everything. Yep, the tone can change everything. That's why the tone's really important, not just the word-to-word scripts. So be responsible for the energy you bring. And I want to talk about this because I'm sure you could think of whether maybe it's a meeting coming up tomorrow or a past meeting where you're dreading it, right? You've completely dreaded, you're not excited. And guess what? When you're not excited and you're not dreaded, it actually shows. And if this has happened to you before, or you have a meeting that you're dreading, type yes, because I'm sure a lot of us ladies here could relate to this. And it shows. And I'll give an example. So when I was about towards the end of my job, I remember not excited for meetings. Like, I don't want to be here. I'm so much better than this. I could be working full-time on my business. These were legit thoughts I was thinking of. And my boss, who is my amazing mentor, she is, by the way, my next door neighbor, she approached me and gave me wonderful feedback. And she said, hey, what's going on? Your attitude didn't seem right. And by the way, other people noticed it. And I was like, shit, I didn't realize that other people were noticing it. And so like I said, no, thanks for the feedback, but you're right. I just wasn't in a good mood. So just be very mindful of the energy you bring. And it doesn't even have to be a meeting. Maybe it's a family party that you're dreading or seeing old friends. Just be mindful of it as well. So resources. So ask for it. It's going to be like the other way around. But Ask for It is a great book by Linda. This is a great book in terms of negotiation, not just salary negotiation, but maybe having difficult conversations of like, how could we find a compromise when it comes to work? Another great book is Crucial Conversations. So it has word-to-word scripts. Third is Boundaries by Henry Cloud. I actually got to see him live. He's amazing. And boundaries are just everything to me. I did not have boundaries. Maybe a lot of you relate to this. And if you do, type in yes. But I just used to say yes to everyone, even people I didn't necessarily like or respect. Samara, yes. And what ended up happening was that I wasn't putting myself first. I felt very stretched out. And really, it's really important to, yes, I've been there, Aisha. It's really important to say no. And I didn't put this, now that I'm thinking it, because a lot of you are responding yes about boundaries. Another good word-to-word script that you might want to write down is, I'll share this story, but as you know, when you respect someone like a mentor or a boss, you tend to mirror them, right? So my boss, and not being racist, but he's a white male. And when we were at meetings and I respected him really well, we're good friends, he would say, no, I disagree. And when I became a director for the first time about 5 years ago, I married him because I respected him. So I was at a meeting myself and I was like, no, I disagree. And I had major backlash. And I realized, oh, it's because I'm not a white male. It's because I'm a woman, I'm young, I'm a minority. I wasn't blaming that. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not victimizing myself. It's just unconscious bias happens. That's just the reality, and we can't completely change it. But what we can change is the words and the scripts that we're using. So what I like using, for example, is, thank you so much for feedback, while at the same time, I think we should do A, B, and C. So you start thank you, like in terms of it's a compliment, and then you give feedback. If that was a good word-to-word script to use, let me know and just say yes. So that's something that you could also apply in your life as well. Okay, so my kick-ass present for you this year. I want to give back and see, Rachel, yes, I want to give back and do a complimentary 30-minute call. And this is the link. I'll type it in the chat box. And we could just go over what's blocking you from your goals and what strategies that you want to do in order to create those changes in your life or transformation as well. Whether it's being more assertive in your career, or maybe it's just, wait, I have a business idea. How do I implement it and take results right away? And that's exactly what I said, what's blocking you and how you can create results now. And these are just two people who I got to work with. These are two of my clients. One of them, I worked with 3 sessions. She got the job. And then another got her first paying client after 1 call, which was awesome. So, like I said, what actions can you do right now? That's really important to me. So if you type in the box, is it 1, are you going to remind yourself that relationships can be enhanced from scripts and tone? I forgot to put tone, so I apologize. 2nd, change perspective that conflicts are opportunities, because they all are. 3rd, are you going to book a free kick-ass strategy session with me? Or 5, all of the above, because you're just an overachiever. So I want to make sure you're going to type it in. So 1 through 3, remind yourself relationships can be enhanced, change perspective, and apply these word-to-word scripts. 5, Vianne, all of the above, because you're crazy. What else, ladies? I want to know exactly what you're going to be applying, because it's really important to me that all of you have value in this. Okay, let me know if you have questions. Just type it in the box. And also 2 to 4. Cool. Samara, 2 to 4, and then Rachel, you're going to do 2 to 3. Awesome. So I want to get feedback from you. I want to be able to give you more value in the Fierce Gen Tribe group. So what else do you want to learn from me? Number 1, how I built a business to a global coaching business in 6 months, making 5-digit months and days. Do you want to learn how I taught my client to get her first paying client after 1 session, or how I created a business organically, spending $0 on Facebook and Instagram ads? Or number 4, how I get influencers like Boss Babe and magazines who want to affiliate with me and I pay nothing, but they pay me? Or 5, how to create a goal and reach it. 6, time management. Or 7, all of the above. I want to know what else you want to learn so I can provide more content to the group. So if you want to respond to that, let me know. That's amazing, Elaine. So I'm going to assume that's 7, right, Aisha? What else do you want to learn from me? It will just be very helpful. Okay, yes, all of it. Cool. 7, of course, Rachel. Okay, Vianne, but yes, 7. Okay, 1, 3, and 4. It looks cool. Well, if I don't have any more questions, I just want to say thank you for spending Monday night with me. I'm going to warn you, I will be messaging all of you because 1, I want accountability. I want to know what actions you're going to be taking. And 2, I do want to get feedback from you. Like, what did you like about the webinar? What do you want to learn more of? So thank you once again, and have a great evening. Samara, 5 especially. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you, ladies. Have a great evening. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.